They gave my college fund to my sister because she needed it more. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just nodded ... then walked out the door. What they didn't know was that I wasn't walking away. I was walking towards something. And 4 years later, I walked that stage, alone in cap and gown, to their stunned silence. Our house had rules, invisible ones that hung in the air like smoke, choking out any sound that wasn't achievement, any breath that wasn't excellence. My parents didn't just demand perfection, they worshipped it, built altars to it in every room, report cards on the refrigerator, trophies lining the mantle, award certificates framed and hung with the precision of museum pieces. I was 8 when I realized I was furniture. Mia was 10. And she had just won the state math competition. Again, the kitchen buzzed with excitement as Mom called relatives, her voice pitched high with pride. My brilliant daughter, she kept saying, the words rolling off her tongue like prayer. Dad stood behind Mia's chair, his hands heavy on her shoulders, beaming like she just cured cancer. I sat at the same table, my own math homework spread before me, a modest B+ circled in red at the top. Nobody saw it. Nobody asked. Mia caught my eye across the table and offered a small smile. But even that felt distant. She was already somewhere I couldn't follow, somewhere I wasn't invited. The space between us measured not in inches, but in expectations. In the weight of dreams I'd never be asked to carry. Emma, Mom said absently, not looking at me, clear the table. Mia needs to practice piano. I gathered my homework, my invisible B+, my forgotten effort, and watched as the kitchen transformed into Mia's stage. She moved to the piano bench with the weary grace of someone much older, her small fingers finding the keys like they were searching for escape. The music that filled our house was beautiful and hollow, each note perfect and joyless. I listened from the kitchen, washing dishes while Mia played Bach with technical precision and no soul. Even her rebellion was perfect, every mistake calculated, every pause measured. Our parents didn't see what I saw, the way Mia's shoulders curved inward, like she was trying to make herself smaller. The way she stared out windows during practice, her fingers moving automatically while her mind fled somewhere else. They saw trophies and test scores. I saw a girl disappearing inside her own success. But I was furniture, so I said nothing. High school changed everything and nothing. I found my rhythm in the spaces no one watched. While Mom drove Mia to advanced physics camps and Dad supervised her SAT prep, I slipped into the library's back corners. I discovered I had a gift for languages, French first, then Spanish, then Italian. Words came to me like music, flowing and natural in ways that numbers never had for Mia. Mrs. Patterson, the librarian, noticed first. Emma, she said one afternoon, finding me curled in the poetry section with Neruda. You have a beautiful accent. No one had ever called anything about me beautiful. I started staying after school, volunteering to help younger students with their language homework. Then I got a job at the local cafe, where my French impressed the tourists and my Spanish helped with the kitchen staff. Tips accumulated in a mason jar hidden under my bed. Small bills and coins that represented something larger than money. They represented possibility. At home, I was still invisible. Dinner conversations centered on Mia's college prospects, her internship applications, her perfect GPA. I passed dishes and cleared plates. A silent service member in the church of my sister's potential. But invisibility, I discovered, had its advantages. No one watched me enough to set limits. No one cared enough to interfere. Mia, meanwhile, was drowning in full view of everyone. I saw it first in small ways. The tremor in her hands during piano practice. The way she stared at herself in mirrors. Her reflection becoming something foreign and disappointing. She'd stand in the bathroom doorway, studying her face like she was trying to remember who lived there. You okay? I asked once, passing her in the hallway. She looked at me like I'd spoken a foreign language. I'm fine, she said, but the words came out wrong, too fast and too high. Senior year, the cracks began to show publicly. Mia started missing classes, just one here and there, easily explained by college visits and advanced seminars. But I knew better. I knew because I was the one who answered the attendance office calls when Mom was at work. This is Emma Miller, I'd say, deepening my voice slightly. Mia had a doctor's appointment this morning. She'd be back after lunch. The lies came easily. Protecting Mia felt as natural as breathing, even as I watched her spiral into something I couldn't name. She'd come home with stories of study groups and extra credit projects, but I could smell the alcohol on her breath. See the way her eyes couldn't quite focus. Our parents saw what they wanted to see. Dedication so intense it was exhausting there. Brilliant daughter. I saw what was really happening. Their brilliant daughter was disappearing, one absence at a time. The acceptance letter arrived on a Tuesday in March. Stanford, full scholarship for their foreign language program, with a focus on international relations. I held the envelope with shaking hands, afraid to believe what the thick paper meant. I'd applied in secret, using fee waivers and borrowed computer time at the library. The application essays had poured out of me, like water finding its level stories about being invisible, about finding voice in other languages, about understanding the power of being underestimated. For exactly 17 minutes, I let myself dream. I saw myself walking across a different campus, speaking Mandarin with professors who knew my name, studying abroad in countries my parents couldn't pronounce. I saw myself becoming someone new, someone chosen, someone worth watching. Then I heard Mia's key in the front door, and reality crashed back. She'd been accepted to Harvard, MIT, and Princeton. Full rides to all three. Our parents planned celebration dinners, called extended family, posted achievements on social media with professional photos. The house hummed with their pride, their vindication of 18 years spent crafting the perfect daughter. But at night, I could hear Mia crying through our shared wall. I knocked once, softly. "Mia? Go away," came the muffled response. "I'm fine." We were both liars now. 2 weeks before graduation, the bottom fell out of everything. Mia had chosen Harvard, of course she had. Mom and Dad talked endlessly about dorm rooms and course catalogs, about their daughter who was going to change the world. Then the bills started coming. "It's just temporary," Dad explained over dinner, his voice tight with the kind of stress that makes men's temples throb. "The market took a hit. My portfolio. We'll need to reorganize some things." Mia pushed food around her plate, silent. I ate my spaghetti and waited for the shoe to drop. It dropped 3 days later. "Emma," Mom said, cornering me in the kitchen after Mia had left for school, "we need to talk about your college plans." I knew. Before she said another word, I knew. "Your sister is struggling more than we realized." Mom continued, her voice carefully modulated, like she was reading from a script. "The pressure at Harvard is going to be intense. She needs support systems, tutoring, maybe counseling. The costs are." She trailed off, letting mathematics fill the silence. "We had to make a choice," she finished quietly. "Mia needs this opportunity more than you do. She has more potential to." I got into Stanford. I interrupted. Mom blinked. "What?" "Full scholarship. International relations program." For a moment, the kitchen was completely silent. I could hear the refrigerator humming, could hear my own heartbeat in my ears. "Well," Mom said finally, and I could see her recalibrating, adjusting her narrative to accommodate this inconvenient truth. That's wonderful, honey. But Stanford is so far away, and the living expenses. We simply can't manage both girls right now. Mia's situation is more immediate." She didn't say what we both knew. Mia was the investment that mattered. I was the expendable child. "I understand," I said, and I did. I understood everything. And I did. I understood everything. I didn't pack much. For years of being invisible meant I'd never accumulated much worth taking. Clothes, books, my hidden jar of tip money, and the Stanford acceptance letter I'd never shown them. Everything fit into suitcases and a backpack. I left a note on my pillow, gone to make my own way. Don't worrying about me. The studio apartment I found was 800 square feet of possibility on the wrong side of town. The landlord, Mrs. Rodriguez, spoke to me in rapid Spanish, testing my comprehension. When I answered fluently, she smiled and knocked $50 off the monthly rent. "A student," she said approvingly. "Student." I got 3 jobs. Mornings at a bakery, where I learned to shape croissants and speak French with the owner's wife. Afternoons tutoring international students in English. Evenings waiting tables at an upscale restaurant where my multilingual skills impressed customers and managers alike. Tips were good. Scholarships were better. I applied to everything: merit scholarships, need-based grants, funds for first-generation college students, money for women in international studies. I wrote essays about resilience, about self-determination, about the power of choosing your own worth. Each application felt like a small act of rebellion, a quiet declaration of independence. Stanford's financial aid office worked with me. The full scholarship covered tuition. My jobs covered everything else. By August, I had enough saved for a bus ticket too. California and first semester's living expenses. I sent one text to my parents, starting college as planned. Don't worry about me. They didn't respond. Mia lasted 6 weeks at Harvard. I learned about it through the carefully worded posts on my parents, social media vague mentions of health concerns, and taking time to reassess priorities. Between the lines, I could read the real story. Their golden child was tarnishing in public view. She came home in October, hollow-eyed and 20 pounds thinner. I heard about it from Mrs. Patterson, who ran into Mom at the grocery store. Your sister's having a hard time. Mrs. Patterson told me during one of my library visits home for Thanksgiving break. Your mom says she's taking a gap year, getting her bearings. I nodded and surprised. The girl I'd watched disappearing had finally vanished completely. What I didn't expect was the rage. Mia was waiting for me in our old bedroom when I came home for winter break. She'd been sitting on her bed, the one that used to be perfectly made, with coordinated pillows and a desk organized like a military operation. Now clothes were scattered across the floor. Textbooks lay abandoned and half open. And she looked like she hadn't slept in weeks. You just left, she said, and her voice was raw, like she'd been screaming. You just fucking left, Emma. I'd never heard her swear before. In our house, cursing was another form of imperfection. Another thing that earned disappointed looks and lectures about rising above. You didn't fight, she continued, standing up so fast the bed frame creaked. You didn't scream at them. You didn't slam doors. You didn't even argue. You just nodded and walked away. What was I supposed to fight for? I asked, setting down my bag carefully. The room felt smaller than I remembered, like it was closing in on both of us. Your place. The words exploded out of her. Your college fund. Your future. Your fucking right to exist in this family. Her voice cracked on the last word, and I saw her hands were shaking. Do you know what it's been like? Do you know what they've been saying? Who's been saying? Everyone. The neighbors. Dad's colleagues. Mom's book club friends. She was pacing now, 3 steps to the window, 3 steps back, like a caged animal. They keep asking about you. How's Emma doing at college? We haven't seen Emma lately, and I watch. Mom and Dad just ... freeze. They don't know what to say because they don't know where you are. I felt something twist in my chest. They never asked. I know. Mia whirled around to face me, and I saw tears streaming down her cheeks. They never asked because they never fucking cared enough to ask. And I was so angry at you for leaving me here alone with that truth. The words hung between us like a physical presence. I'd never seen my sister like this, wild-haired and furious and completely, utterly human. I never asked them to choose me over you, she whispered, and now she was crying in earnest, ugly sobs that shook her whole body. I never wanted any of it. The pressure, the expectations, the way they looked at me like I was some kind of a performing monkey. Do you know what it's like to be the favorite and still feel like you're drowning? I didn't know, actually. I knew exactly what that felt like. Do you know what it's like? I said back, my own voice starting to crack. To not be the favorite and know you never will be. To sit at the same table every night and feel invisible. To win awards that no one ever sees because they're too busy celebrating someone else's awards. But you were free, Mia said desperately. You could be yourself. You could make mistakes without them falling apart. You could have friends and hobbies and a life that wasn't scheduled down to the minute. I was alone. I shot back, and suddenly I was angry too. Years of suppressed rage bubbling up like lava. I was completely alone. Mia, do you know what it's like to excel at something really excel and have no one notice? I won the state French competition. Junior year, state, I got a perfect score on the AP Spanish exam. I was editor of the International Club newsletter. And none of it mattered because none of it was you. She stared at me like I'd slapped her. I didn't know.